Welcome to 20 Books in 20 Minutes. 12 Steps to a Compassionate Life by Karen Armstrong. This book contains a program that can lead us toward a more compassionate life, beginning with Learn About Compassion and closing with Love Your Enemies. In working through the Charter for Compassion, the author suggests concrete ways of putting compassion into action in our daily lives, providing practical and actionable ideas that can indeed transform our world. For readers of Grateful by Diana Butler Bass and Hallelujah Anyway by Anne Lamott. Among the Wonderful by Stacy Carlson. In the summer of 1840, P.T. Barnum purchased an outdated museum on the corner of Broadway and Ann Street in Manhattan. He was a newcomer to the city and still unknown to the world, but with uncanny confidence and impeccable timing, he transformed the dusty natural history collection into a great art for public imagination. Among the Wonderful is a fictional account of this museum's short, extraordinary reign as America's most popular attraction. The narrative moves beneath the museum's baffling surface to visit the lives of all of Barnum's representatives of the world. Soon their relationships and conflicts transform the museum into a vibrant, sometimes violent community. For readers of Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen and the autobiography of Mr. Tom Thumb by Melanie Benjamin. The Stuff That Never Happened by Maddie Dawson. Grant and Annabelle McKay have had a long, stable marriage, complete with 2 grown children, thousands of dinners at their scarred oak table, and fond sex. But Annabelle is in love with another man. 26 years ago, in the first chaotic days of her marriage to Grant, Annabelle met Jeremiah. She's clung to that passionate affair ever since, though she and Grant have sworn never to speak of it. When she's called to New York City to help care for her pregnant daughter, Annabelle runs into Jeremiah and must finally decide which man truly possesses her heart, and whether she can pledge herself to either one of them for the rest of her life. For readers of First Comes Love by Emily Giffen, Good Company by Cynthia DePrix Sweeney, and A Girl's Guide to Moving On by Debbie McComber. Where Lilacs Still Bloom by Jane Kirkpatrick. In the early 1900s, housewife Hulda Klager reads a book that changes her life forever, leading her to develop over 200 new varieties of lilacs that she gives away or sells to individuals as a way of sharing beauty. Her commitment to creation while living through family losses and challenges is a story of perseverance and generosity that culminates when, in a time of great need, the people who Hulda gifted with beauty return to her life to help her start over. For readers of A Promise for Ellie by Lorraine Snelling and The Nature of Fragile Things by Susan Meissner. Sister by Rosamund Lupton. Beatrice's little sister Tess has been found dead, apparently by suicide. Bee's friends, her fiance, and even her mother accept the fact that impulsive artist Tess killed herself. However, only Bee knows that Tess was pregnant with her first child, and she is convinced that something more sinister is responsible for her sister's untimely death. Single-minded in her search for a killer, Bee moves into Tess's apartment and throws herself headlong into her sister's life and all its secrets. Her family and the police see her as a grieving sister in denial, unwilling to accept the facts of the case. But as a determined Bee gives her statement to the lead investigator, her story reveals a predator who got away with murder and an obsession that may cost Bee her own life. For readers of The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides and Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Duty Free by Moni Mohsin. Our plucky heroine has just been tapped to help find a suitable wife for her cousin Jonkers. Jonkers, who at 37 dresses and acts more like an awkward teenager than a self-assured, successful business owner, has been terribly unlucky in love. He tends to fall for women who are of the wrong background. It is no easy thing to find a woman for Jonkers, while also juggling her son Kulchu's education, shopping, managing her maids, wheedling for British passports, and keeping up with the Joneses. Each chapter begins with that day's headlines, which become increasingly dire as the Beardos from the hinterlands come ever closer to Lahore and threaten everything that she holds dear. For readers of Unmarriageable by Sonia Kamal and City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. The Grace of Silence, a family memoir by Michele Norris. Norris, a former co-host of NPR's All Things Considered, had planned to write about hidden conversation on race unfolding in the wake of President Obama's election. However, she soon discovered painful secrets in her own family, from her father's shooting by a Birmingham police officer to her maternal grandmother's peddling pancake mix as an itinerant Aunt Jemima in the Midwest. She takes a profound and bracing journey into her family's past and reveals the power of silence and secrets. For readers of This is the Fire, What I Said to My Friends About Racism by Don Lemon, and White Like Her, My Family's Story of Race and Racial Passing by Gail Lakushik. The Tiger's Wife by Tao Obreht. In a Balkan country mending from war, Natalia, a young doctor, is compelled to unravel the mysterious circumstances surrounding her beloved grandfather's recent death. Searching for clues, she turns to his worn copy of The Jungle Book and the stories he told her of his encounters over the years with the Deathless Man. But most extraordinary of all is the story her grandfather never told her, the legend of the Tiger's Wife. For readers of Bel Canto by Ann Patchett and The Red Garden by Alice Hoffman. The Buddha in the Attic by Julie Otsuka. A group of women is brought by ship from Japan to San Francisco in the early 1900s as mail order brides. The collective narrative voices travel from the boat with hopes for good husbands and happy futures to the arrival and harsh realities, to toil as migrant workers and house cleaners, to the overwhelming struggle to learn a new language and culture, giving birth and raising children who reject their parents and heritage, and finally the arrival of war and the absolute heartbreak of the internment camps. For readers of Snow Falling on Cedars by David Guterson and Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. The Art of Hearing Heartbeats by Jan-Philipp Sendker. When a successful New York lawyer suddenly disappears without a trace, neither his wife nor his daughter Julia has any idea where he might be, until they find a love letter he wrote many years ago to a Burmese woman they have never heard of. Intent on solving the mystery and coming to terms with her father's past, Julia decides to travel to the village where the woman lived. There she uncovers a tale of unimaginable hardship, resilience, and passion that will reaffirm the reader's belief in the power of love to move mountains. For readers of The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks and A Single Rose by Muriel Barbary. Vaclav and Lena by Haley Tanner. Vaclav and Lena seem destined for each other. They meet as children in an ESL class in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn. Vaclav is precocious and verbal. Lena, struggling with English, takes comfort in the safety of his adoration, his noisy, loving home, and the care of Rasia, his big-hearted mother. Vaclav imagines their story unfolding like a fairy tale, or the perfect illusion from his treasured magician's almanac. But one day, Lena does not show up for school. She has disappeared from Vaclav and his family's lives as if by a cruel sleight of hand. For the next 7 years, Vaclav says goodnight to Lena without fail, wondering if she is doing the same somewhere. On the eve of Lena's 17th birthday, he finds out. For readers of Girl in Translation by Jean Kwok and Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. Ashley Bell by Dean Koontz. Phoebe Blair is a fierce, funny, dauntless young woman whose doctor says she has 1 year to live. She replies, "We'll see." Her sudden recovery astonishes medical science. An enigmatic woman convinces Phoebe that she escaped death so that she can save someone else. someone named Ashley Bell. But save her from what? From whom? And who is Ashley Bell? Where is she? Phoebe's obsession with finding Ashley sends her on the run from threats both mystical and worldly, including a rich and charismatic cult leader with terrifying ambitions. For readers of The Silent Wife by Karen Slaughter, Fool Me Once by Harlan Coben, and A Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins. American Housewife by Helen Ellis. Meet the women of American Housewife. They wear lipstick, pearls, and sunscreen, even when it's cloudy. They casserole, they pinwheel, they pump the salad spinner like it's a CPR dummy, and then they kill a party crasher, carefully stepping around the body to pull cookies out of the oven. These 12 irresistible stories take us from a haunted pre-war Manhattan apartment building to the set of a rigid reality television show. From the unique initiation ritual of a book club to the getaway car of a pageant princess on the lam. From the gallery opening of a tinfoil artist to the fitting room of a legendary lingerie shop. Vicious, fresh, and nutty as a poison goo-goo cluster, American Housewife is an uproarious, pointed commentary on womanhood. For readers of Skinny Dip by Carl Hyacin and the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. The Road to Little Dribbling by Bill Bryson. 25 years ago, Bill Bryson went on a trip around Britain to discover and celebrate that green and pleasant land. The result was Notes from a Small Island, a true classic and one of the best-selling travel books ever written. For this book, he has traveled about Britain again, by bus and train and rental car and on foot, to see what has changed and what hasn't. Following, but not too closely, a route he dubs the Bryson Line, from Bognor Regis in the south to Cape Wrath in the north, by way of places few travelers ever get to at all. Bryson rediscovers the wondrously beautiful, magnificently eccentric, endearingly singular country that he both celebrates and, when called for, twits. With his matchless instinct for the funniest and quirkiest, and his unerring eye for the idiotic, the bewildering, the appealing, and the ridiculous, he offers acute and perceptive insights into all that is best and worst about Britain. For readers of Let's Explore Diabetes with Owls by David Sedaris and See You at the Piazza by Frances Mays. The Things We Keep by Sally Hepworth. Anna Forrester is only 38 years old, but her mind is slowly slipping away from her. Armed only with her keen wit and sharp-eyed determination, she knows that her family is doing what they believe to be best when they take her to Roslyn House, an assisted living facility. But Anna has a secret. She does not plan on staying. She also knows there's just one other resident who is her age, Luke. What she does not expect is the love that blossoms between her and Luke, even as she resists her new life. As her disease steals more and more of her memory, Anna fights to hold on to what she knows, including her relationship with Luke. Eve Bennett, suddenly thrust into the role of single mother to her bright and vivacious 7-year-old daughter, finds herself putting her culinary training to use at Roslyn House. When she meets Anna and Luke, she is moved by the bond the pair has forged, but when a tragic incident leads Anna's and Luke's families to separate them, Eve finds herself questioning what she is willing to risk to help them. Eve has her own secrets and her own desperate circumstances that raise the stakes even higher. For readers of The Sweetness of Forgetting by Kristen Harmel and Every Note Played by Lisa Genova. What She Knew by Gilly Macmillan. Rachel Jenner is walking in a Bristol park with her 8-year-old son, Ben, when he asks if he can run ahead. It's an ordinary request on an ordinary Sunday afternoon, and Rachel has no reason to worry until Ben vanishes. Police are called, search parties go out, and Rachel, already insecure about her recent divorce, feels herself coming undone. As hours and then days pass without a sign of Ben, everyone who knew him is called into question, from Rachel's newly married ex-husband to her mother-of-the-year sister. Inevitably, media attention focuses on Rachel too, and the public's attitude toward her begins to shift from sympathy to suspicion. As she desperately pieces together the threadbare clues, Rachel realizes that nothing is quite as she imagined it to be, not even her own judgment, and the greatest dangers may lie not in the anonymous strangers of every parent's nightmare, but behind the familiar smiles of those she trusts the most. Where is Ben? The clock is ticking. For readers of I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh and When the Lights Go Out by Mary Kupica. The Girl Before by J.P. Delaney. Please make a list of every possession you consider essential to your life. The request seems odd, even intrusive, and for the two women who answer, the consequences are devastating. Reeling from a traumatic break-in, Emma wants a new place to live, but none of the apartments she sees are affordable or feel safe until 1 Folgate Street. The house is an architectural masterpiece, a minimalist design of pale stone, plate glass, and soaring ceilings. But there are rules. The enigmatic architect who designed the house retains full control. No books, no throw pillows, no photos or clutter or personal effects of any kind. The space is intended to transform its occupant, and it does. After a personal tragedy, Jane needs a fresh start. When she finds 1 Folgate Street, she is instantly drawn to the space and to its aloof but seductive creator. Moving in, Jane soon learns about the untimely death of the home's previous tenant, a woman similar to Jane in age and appearance. As Jane tries to untangle truth from lies, she unwittingly follows the same patterns, makes the same choices, crosses paths with the same people, and experiences the same terror as the girl before. For readers of An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and No One Gets Out Alive by Adam Nibble. The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. Winter lasts most of the year at the edge of the Russian wilderness, and in the long nights, Vasilia and her siblings love to gather by the fire to listen to their nurse's fairy tales. Above all, Vasya loves the story of Frost, the blue-eyed winter demon. Wise Russians fear him, for he claims unwary souls, and they honor the spirits that protect their homes from evil. Then Vasya's widowed father brings home a new wife from Moscow. Fiercely devout, Vasya's stepmother forbids her family from honoring their household spirits, but Vasya fears what this may bring, and indeed, misfortune begins to stalk the village. But Vasya's stepmother only grows harsher, determined to remake the village to her liking and to groom her rebellious stepdaughter for marriage or a convent. As the village's defenses weaken and evil from the forest creeps nearer, Vasilia must call upon dangerous gifts she has long concealed to protect her family from a threat sprung to life from her nurse's most frightening tales. For readers of A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness and Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. The Drive by Jane Harper. After getting a note demanding his presence, federal agent Aaron Falk arrives in his hometown for the first time in decades to attend the funeral of his best friend Luke. 20 years ago, when Falk was accused of murder, Luke was his alibi. Falk and his father fled under a cloud of suspicion, saved from prosecution only because of Luke's steadfast claim that the boys had been together at the time of the crime. But now more than one person knows they didn't tell the truth back then, and Luke is dead. Amid the worst drought in a century, Falk and the local detectives question what really happened to Luke. As Falk reluctantly investigates to see if there's more to Luke's death than there seems to be, long buried mysteries resurface, as do the lies that have haunted them. And Falk will find that small towns have always hidden big secrets. For readers of Bitter Wash Road by Gary Disher and The Current by Tim Johnston. Books for Living by Will Schwalbe. Why is it that we read? Is it to pass time, to learn something new, to escape from reality? For Will Schwalbe, reading is a way to entertain himself, but also to make sense of the world, to become a better person, and to find the answers to the big and small questions about how to live his life. In this delightful celebration of reading, Schwalbe invites us along on his quest for books that speak to the specific challenges of living in our modern world with all its noise and distractions. In each chapter, he discusses a particular book, what brought him to it, or vice versa, the people in his life he associates with it, and how it became a part of his understanding of himself and the world. These books span centuries and genres, and each one relates to the questions and concerns we all share. Throughout, Schwalbe focuses on the ways certain books can help us honor those we've loved and lost, and also figures out how to live each day more fully. Rich with stories and recommendations, Books for Living is a treasure for everyone who loves books and loves to hear the answer to the question, what are you reading? For readers of Am I Alone Here by Peter Omer and The Writer's Library by Nancy Pearl and Jeff Schwager. You can request a print copy of any title from the online catalog. Check Libby and Overdrive and Hoopla to see if the ebook or audiobook is available. Thank you for watching. We hope that you found a new book for you to delve into and enjoy. And as always, please tell us below, what are you reading?